Hey, what's up guys? How are you doing today? Hope you are doing well. Started working for a new client today. Basically arriving in the midst of making a picture. I have to retrieve it from an artist and clean it, basically. And I must say it has been quite a mess. There was the need to clean the entire PSD first, rename everything, reorganize everything properly, and start doing the feedbacks. Should be nice eventually. Hello! Welcome! Welcome, nice to see you again. Hope you have been doing well. I must say that for the premiere 4 of this year, I'm pretty proud of you. Because even though for the composition homework there has been a few people not delivering stuff, not able to deliver everything, we are way better than any other class. So congrats to you. In terms of ability to deliver, in terms of quantity and what was asked. And there has been some other problems in other classes. So congrats to you. Anyways, yesterday we started talking about a book called Mastery by Robert Greene. Yeah, sure, make sure to tell them. I send you the correction pretty soon. So yesterday we talked about Mastery by Robert Greene. We talked about the two first parts, which is basically finding your voice or your calling or life task. I would like to call it your obsession, your passion. And how to start figuring out your way towards it, basically. So first, to find your voice, first 3 steps. First, reconnect to your inclination. 2, look at the career path that you are already on or about to begin and choose the path carefully. Maybe redirect it. And finally, see your career or vocational path as more as a journey with twists and turns rather than a straight line. There was the task to return to your origin. What was your initial obsessions? Occupy the perfect niche. Figure out how you can get the most out of it. Recognize the false paths. Letting go of them, potentially. And also, if you got lost, to find your way back. We also talk about how to be the ideal apprentice. So there was 3 steps. The first one is the passive mode. It's the observation of something you want to learn. Second one is the practice. So it's basically the skill acquisition. The third and last one, once you are proficient, is to start experimenting with those techniques, this niche and stuff like that. This is the active mode. For that, we talked about the fact of valuing learning over money, expanding our horizons, reverting to a feeling of inferiority, always hanging out with people better than us, trusting the process and trusting their process, doing our best to move towards resistance and pain, apprentice ourselves in failure, combine the how and the what. This is basically the theory and practice. We talked about advancing through trial and error. That's pretty much it. That's already a lot. Today, we're going to talk at least about how to learn optimally from your mentor, how to cultivate social intelligence, and maybe more if we have time. So, the first step is to learn optimally from your mentor. Because as we said, you need to hang out with people better than you and trust the process. You need, thanks to them, to observe how they do that and practice the way they are doing that And finally, fly with your own wings and start experimenting on your own and detach yourself from your mentor, basically. This is something we've been telling a lot students in class, but basically life is short, so don't waste time learning without guidance. A good mentor can greatly accelerate your apprenticeship. There are always two kinds of students. Those who are telling themselves, for whatever reason, that they can learn everything on their own, and they are very hard to teach. Because generally they don't want to listen, they want to listen to themselves. They don't want to learn from anyone else. And other people that are admitting that they need to learn from someone, they are teachable a lot better. The problem with refusing a mentor or a teacher or something like that is that it's basically like climbing a mountain. You're at the bottom, you want to reach the top. You can either figure out the way on your own, so it might or might not lead you towards the top. It might or might not take more or less time. There are already people on top. And if you follow their path, because they made it, so it shows that it worked. If you follow their path, if you walk in their tracks, you have two things. You have one, the certainty that you will go to the top if you follow exactly their tracks. And two, more important, that it works, because it will lead you to the top. And that's the metaphor of learning with a mentor. You're basically finding a very, very quick way to reach the top. You can self-learn using generic information from books or courses or the internet. However, good mentors speed up the learning process drastically by tailoring the insights and feedback especially for you. It's the best to have one mentor at a time and to learn from face-to-face interaction. Today with COVID and lockdown, it's a bit harder, but you get my point. So you can pick up the nuance behind mastery. This is the importance of face-to-face, or at least a one-on-one relationship. But if you can find a perfect mentor, you can find various ones to fill different gaps. To attract potential mentors, you need to develop yourself with the necessary work ethics, organizational skills, and enthusiasm for learning. You need to be prepared to embrace menial work and add value to the masters in whatever way possible, and invest in a strong mentor-protege relationship. Basically, when you want to get a mentor, I'm not talking about a teacher, I'm not talking about a mentor that you are paying. I'm talking about someone better than you, willing to help you. The best way to have a chance to get the help of someone is not telling them, hey, can you help me, bro? No. No more free attention. You don't want to give your attention for free. And so do mentors and other people. So what you need to do is find a way to add value to them. So it can be, hey, can I buy you a drink? Can I buy you a meal? We can talk. Can I invite you to the restaurant? Can I help you in your work for free? Something like that. I'm not telling people to work for free. But if you want to learn, if you are learning from the help that you are giving, this might be one of the only way that working for quote-unquote free might be actually profitable because you are learning something. And if you want to talk to people like Jama or big stars in the industry, they will be super busy. However, if you tell them, hey, I would like to help you, this might be a better way to actually get in touch with them. For artists as well, a bit socially awkward. We don't really need help for social medias and stuff like that. It might be a bit harder, but you get my point. Just as, let's say you are in a convention and you tell this artist, hey, can I buy you a coffee? Just a simple coffee, that's $2. You might have your ticket to buy a bit of that time. So this might be a good way to do that. However, you need to remember, on the path to mastery, each mentor is only a stepping stone to the next level. Your goal is to surpass your masters. Once you've internalized what they have to offer, you need to move without guilt. You don't need to stay in their shadows. That's basically once you reached the end of the practice phase and you need then to experiment on your own. Here's a quote from the book. The mentor-protege relationship is the most efficient and productive form of learning. The right mentors know where to focus your attention and how to challenge you. Their knowledge and experience become yours. They provide immediate and realistic feedback on your work so you can improve more rapidly. Through an intense person-to-person interaction, you absorb a way of thinking that contains great power and can be adapted to your own individual spirit. You see? Observation of the mental framework, practice of it, and then you adapt it to yours. That's experimentation. Choose the mentor who best fits your needs and connects with your life task. Once you have internalized their knowledge, you must move on and never remain in their shadow. Your goal is always to surpass your mentors in mastery and brilliance. And generally, that's how you can spot a good mentor. A good mentor is proud of you when you become better than them. And to be a good mentor, you don't need to be a superstar. You just need to be a bit better than the person you are teaching at that specific point that they want to learn. You don't need to be better at everything else. You just need to be better at the point that they want to learn. To learn requires a sense of humility. You must admit that there are people out there who know or feel much more deeply than we do. Their superiority is not a function of natural talent or privilege, but rather of time and experience spent. Although a mentor at a time is the best, it is not always possible to find the perfect one. In such case, an alternate strategy is to find several mentors in your immediate environment, each one filling strategic gaps in your knowledge and experience. Having more than one mentor has side benefits, giving you several connections and important allies to rely upon later. Similarly, if your circumstances limit your contacts, books can serve as temporary mentors, as the improvement of the mind did for Faraday. That's exactly what I have personally. I have a main mentor, but we are in a mentorship group, and we have several different mentors for different fields. One is for money, one is for social media, one is for health, one is for personal development, one is for psychology, stuff like that. Because it's such complex subject that one person cannot know perfectly all of that, and also they all have their specialty, so you can basically utilize the best out of all of them. That's exactly what we have in a good school. Technically, each teacher is a specialist at what they are teaching you. Good for now? But basically, once you are outside of school, the best way to attract a mentor is either you pay for the mentorship. This is a way to contribute to their mission. This is the most simplest and direct way. But if they are not offering their service against money, basically contributing to their mission still is the best way to do. Buy them a drink, buy their food, buy them a meal at the restaurant, to borrow a bit of their time. You can just ask them, hey, can I help you in your work for free? It's a bit hard for heart. But for business, for example, let's say you're admiring a business. Let's have an hypothetical scenario. Let's say you have a great art director and you are like, he's working freelance for like an outsourcing company. You're like, hey, I would like to learn from you. Can I help you? Let's say this person accepts. What you will do, you will just maybe save them time to write the feedbacks that they are saying to you. This way they can only focus on the paint over and stuff like that. And you are redacting the feedbacks, thus saving them time. But at the same time, as you are hearing the feedbacks in real time, you're basically learning what's going on in their mind, what they are thinking about when they are doing feedbacks for their own artist, stuff like that. By helping, you are first observing how they are doing that. At some point, you have observed so much that maybe, and you have contributed to their mission so much that maybe you can start providing the feedbacks yourself. This is practice phase. And once you have perfectly internalized what they are doing, quit. You do that on your own. That's experimentation. So here are some strategies for deepening the mentor dynamic. First, you need to choose a mentor according to your needs and inclinations. In this case, the right choice can perhaps provide what your parents didn't give you: support, confidence, direction, space to discover things on your own. You need to look for mentors who can do that and beware of falling into the opposite trap. Opting for a mentor who resembles one of your parents, including all his negative traits. He will merely repeat what hampered you in the first place. Then you need to gaze deep into the mentor's mirror. A mentor is here to challenge you, and this is the importance of this one-on-one relationship, is that they can provide you direct feedback and challenge that are catered towards you. The mentor can show you where you are the weakest, and don't be afraid to see it. Get used to criticism, welcome it. Through their realistic feedback, you will increase your confidence and ability. Again, it goes back to this idea when you want to be the perfect apprentice, to advance through trial and errors and move towards resistance and pain. Oh, Kyo launched a raid. Thank you, buddy. Hello, Kyo, how are you doing?
Hello.
So then you need to transfigure the ideas. As you incorporate the lessons of your master, begin to adapt them to yourself. Don't purely copy them, think for yourself. You have to surpass them eventually. That's fine, we just started. And finally, at some point you need to create a back and forth dynamic. You have to push back sometimes and make it clear what you need from the mentor. Work on the relationship together and adjust their instruction to fit your needs. So basically, you always have to remember, mentor, what you are here for. Because sometimes your mentor might also spread this knowledge on other subjects that you are not really interested in. So you need to refocus the attention on exactly what you want to learn. Of course, if that's valuable, what the mentor is giving you outside of the specific thing is valuable to you, get it. That's free. But if it's moving too much aside from what you want to learn, refocus. So that's basically a continuation of being the perfect apprentice. This one was short. Let's move to the next one, called Cultivate Social Intelligence. This one might be strange, but it is very, very important and pertinent for artists, because as you know, when you are in art school or when you are at work in the industry, artists are not the most social creatures. And a lot of people that are leads or directors or managers are just artists with a bit more of a social fiber, but still not enough. That's why cultivating social intelligence is very important, especially in our field, because you will have to compensate for other people unable to do that for you. Social intelligence is the ability to see people as they are, instead of how we imagine them to be or how they want us to see them. It improves your relationships and quality of thinking. On the other hand, social naivety leads to mistakes, conflict, and confusion, leaving you with little time and energy for mastery. I'm going to give you a specific example. This is for the class this year. My first site of the class will... Okay, let's get back in context, and I hope you won't take that as something mean. It's not the case. But back in my day, when Grandpa Tim was in class, it was a bit more classic, let's say, in terms of appearance. Hello, Mika. How are you doing, buddy? It was a bit more classic in terms of appearance. It was not as expressive as today. It was just 7 years ago. So it's just one generational gap. And still, the difference is massive. And this year especially, when I saw the class, I was like, wow, This is quite a colored class. And the first prejudice I got, without even knowing people in the class, was like, I will need to walk on eggshell with them. For whatever reason, I felt there could have been some friction between us, for whatever reason, generational stuff, way of speaking, me maybe being too direct or stuff like that. So I was like, oh my god, I will have to walk on eggshells. And eventually, as we told, especially during the last week, it was like, hey, nobody's fooling anyone. We are all the same. We are all artists. We all got bullied in high school and stuff like that when we were in traditional schools. We are all the misfits together. Nobody's fooling everyone in the class. All those appearance, attitudes, all the masks that we are wearing. It's just a mask. It's just to hide who we are. And who we are is just a fucking mess of emotions. Big entangled ball of emotions, anxiety, existential crisis and stuff like that. And we are basically all the same. Instead of hiding that, I'm including myself, I was the big metalhead with long hair, Metallica t-shirt and stuff like that when I was in art school. But instead of focusing on that and trying to hide ourselves even more, while everyone is absolutely clear about who we are, you're just wasting time and energy, basically. Instead of that, what I said was just, hey, all your wounds, all your fuckness, all the mess that we have inside, just express it. Let it come outside and channel it toward the art. Because if you do that, as we said yesterday, you are doing art for two reasons. It's either a way for you to express yourself, so to exteriorize things, or else it's a shelter for you. So it's a way to comfort you. In any case, it's beneficial for the fucking mess that we have inside. So the more we are fucked up inside, and the more we channel that towards art, the more we will work on art, and the better we will be. The better we will be, the more tools we will have to handle the fucking emotional mess that we have inside. So it's a virtuous circle. And eventually we turn that shit into gold. And you look at crazy good artists like, I don't know, Alina Ivanchenko, Maria Panfilova, Nikita Zverev, Taras Susak. These guys, they are fucking mess inside. When you open our station, let's have a look for 2 seconds. Let's have a look for 2 seconds. All right. This guy, I'm sorry for this guy. I really wish that this guy is okay in his life. But judging by his art, I think he's a fucking mess inside. But still he's able to channel that, whether he's feeling good or not, he's able to channel that towards art. And creating extremely intense art. This is so violent. There's nothing, and yet you feel such strong things. He has a very unique style. And everything that he does is so great. And this is the example of someone able to channel his fucking internal mess towards a nice process. I hope it's helping him to better in his life. Same with Tom Booth. This guy need to have felt a lot of shit to do this kind of stuff. It's just my opinion. Same with that. Sam Hogg. He's doing incredible stuff. He's doing really, really beautiful pieces. Alina Ivanchenko, I'm pretty sure she's been living and going through hard stuff too. And still she has a crazy, crazy good art style. Pretty unique. Able to channel that towards something unique. Towards her obsession. Same with Maria Panfilova. I hope she's doing okay. But everything she does is so relatable. There's no way you can have this level of compassion and relatability without having experienced crazy intense stuff. And without a doubt, she's an absolute master at sculpting. You look at this one. Wow. And with this one. Holy shit. This is Maria Panfilova. I cannot send link on the Twitch chat. You can check that out on ArtStation. Yeah, this kind of stuff, I think you need a certain level of compassion. Plus talent, of course. And skills and work to do this kind of stuff. But I think you need a certain sensibility to do that. So with this one. So back on social intelligence, that's what I wanted to say. If there was no social intelligence, I would have been stuck in class with like, oh my god, what is this bunch of people with a culture I don't understand? This won't be a match. Instead, I think that with the class, we got a pretty good relationship together. That's just my 2 cents. That's just my opinion. Feel free to disagree if it was not the case. Judging by a few messages I got, I think it was okay. That's all about reading people carefully and being able to read people properly. Because my first interpretation of the class was pretty bad. It was not the true one. I was just seeing the appearance, the mask, and I was not seeing what was behind. And this was a lack of social intelligence at first. Thank you.
Aw, you shouldn't have.
So, you have to learn to see people as they are. There's a quote from the book. To begin this process, you need to train yourself to pay less attention to the words that people say and greater attention to their tone of voice, the look in their eyes, and their body language. All signals that might reveal a nervousness or excitement that is not expressed verbally. If you can get people to become emotional, that will reveal a lot more. And again, tone of voice, look in their eyes, and body language. I know this is a very hard thing to do now because of lockdown. The fact that there was 2 years of lockdown and homeschooling and stuff like that, so it was kind of hard. And with the mask and all that jazz, we are unlearning this kind of stuff. Because there's no mouth, we barely see the eyes expression, we don't see people smiling anymore, stuff like that. We barely see people now. But body language, tone of voice, this is still the kind of stuff that we can pick up if we are kind of good. And this is so important to figure out what people are thinking. If people are nervous, if people are happy, do they trust you or not? Let's say you have someone crossing their arms. That's just an example. It's not universal, but let's say you discuss with someone and this person has arm crossed. This person is not open to you. This person is like that. It means this person trusts you. If someone is hiding his or her neck, generally, that's a protection sign. If someone is kind of calm, revealing his neck, that's a proof of confidence. Just an example. And this is so important. And the second part, if you can get people to become emotional, that will reveal a lot more. Again, tell me what you think in the class. But I think that when we started to talk a bit about the emotional stuff, in my opinion, that's when the class got hooked. That's just my 2 cents. It's pretty strange when you are a teacher. First thing you need to do is to impose yourself with your skill. Okay, that's my name, that's what I did. Okay, admire me. So you can listen to me and I have some sense of credibility. I think that when people get emotional with you, that's when you can really get them to learn fast and deep things. Just my opinion. I know that personally the school likes yeah, you need to look into people's eyes, and that's why I hated that fucking class disposition. It was because I was never seeing you. I was never seeing people's face. I was either seeing your back or you were behind me. So it was so freaking strange. Yeah, when you're teaching someone, you need to look in their eyes. Because sometimes someone can be shy and tell you, yeah, I have understood. And in their eyes, there is confusion, there is panic, and you know that this person has not understood that. And you need to be super careful about that. And I know that the school is hiring me specially, not for my skill. I'm not the one teaching you how to do crazy technical stuff and teaching you anatomy. I'm the with Guillaume in the school. We are the 2 emotional guys basically. We are the 2 persons in the school about the emotion side of you. You want technique, you go with Alexandre, you go with Aurélien, you go with Leo, guys like that. You want the emotion, you go with me or with Guillaume. And you need a bit of both. But we are, especially in the school, we are masters at different things. We are doing our best to utilize the skills of everyone. Alexandre is adorable. I know he's very demanding, but he is an adorable person. And I don't want to talk in his name, not to talk that much about the school, aside from me. But Alexandre is the technical guy. And he's working very, very hard on the social aspect. Trust me. And he doesn't want to scare you or to terrify you or to be mean to you. And if you think it happened, it's just a misunderstanding. And he's probably even more sorry than you. But Alexandre is adorable. And you need someone like that. You need someone very technical, very, very skilled to teach you that discipline and also to get you used to basically face someone that is a bit less about social stuff and more about results. Trust me, he's trying his best. He's really trying his best. You need to accept that some people, I'm not speaking about Alexandre especially, but you need to accept that some people sometimes like putting a mask when they are walking. They are like, the less social, the better for me. And this is not because they are mean, they want to be mean. It's just because it's a way to protect themselves. Because some people cannot handle people feeling stressed or terrified. They are like emotional sponges. And it gets them to feel like shit. And these people, you can recognize them pretty easily because they are wearing this kind of mask in general. I don't want to speak for anyone in the school aside from me. So let's move on. But basically, when you get people to be emotional, that's where they are hooked. And you can teach, and the generally start to trust you. Because in order to reveal emotions to someone, you need to trust that person in some ways. And this is also a good way to gain their trust. And at that moment, you can basically teach so much more through the emotional channel. In the end, your goal is to identify and pierce through what makes people unique, to understand the character and value that lies at their core. That's exactly what I said. Oh yeah, exactly. That's emotionally draining. Now, and it really depends. I have this kind of personality that kind of feeds from that, not in a sadistic way, but I like helping people in some way. I don't know if it's pretentious, but I like being with people and being kind of calm for them. But some people cannot bear that at all. It's so draining. So you that's also your duty as a student, as a protege, your mentors, to accept the fact that sometimes they need to protect themselves too. You need to not be angry at them because of that. Because they cannot teach you properly if they are drained. That's also your responsibility to accept that in some way. That's a giving situation. Yeah, your goal is to identify and pierce through what makes people unique. That's why I was talking about some mask and appearance and attitude that we all have or had. Just have, not had. And you need to knock that out of the pedestal, basically. You need to knock people off their pedestal. Explain to them, hey, you're not special. You're not unique. You cannot become whatever you want just if you want it. Once the statue is broken, let's rebuild something cool. You need to kind of break something, to figure out what the gold nugget into it, basically. It's part of the process. You also need to understand what are the basic desires of people. That's the next part of social intelligence. That's something the book is calling the 7 deadly realities. The first one is envy. It's our nature to constantly compare ourselves to others in terms of money, look, coolness, intelligence, popularity, and any number of categories. In general, it is by standing out too much that you will spark this ugly emotion. And so it is best to maintain a non-threatening exterior and to blend in well with the group. At least until you are so successful, it no longer matters. An example like that is, let's say we are in a theoretical class. There is someone that is so much better than everyone and telling that all the time. It's like, I am better than you, I'm better than you, acting pretentious. This is sparking envy. And even without that, just by having good results, it already sparks envy. Like the major of the class, stuff like that, it already sparks envy without even doing anything. So we need to tune that down, if possible, if we are socially intelligent, in order to basically avoid people around us to be so envious that they want to become destructive with us. That's the first thing. The second deadly reality is conformism. When people form groups of any type, a kind of organizational... Sorry, this word is so hard to read. When people form groups of any type, a kind of organizational mindset inevitably sets in. Although members of the group might trumpet their tolerance and celebration of people's difference, the reality is that those who are markedly different make them feel uncomfortable and insecure, calling the values of the dominant culture into question. So basically this one is we are in a group, we are in a niche. We need not to feel threatened by people outside of our niche. We need to be careful not to rely too much on that community, not to rely too much on our small tribe to be the only shelter that we have. Otherwise, we'll see everything else as a threat. That's the idea of conformism. We want to fit in so badly in the group that if we just deviate from it, it's already bad. And the problem with that is that a lot of mentors are very anti-conformist. So that's why you need to remain open to stuff that are non-conform for you. The next deadly reality is rigidity. The world has become increasingly complex in many ways, and whenever we humans face a situation that seems complicating, our response is to resort to a kind of artificial simplicity, to create habits and routines that gives us a sense of control. The best strategy is to simply accept rigidity in others, outwardly displaying reference to the need for order. On our own, however, you must work to maintain your open spirit, letting go of bad habits and deliberately cultivating new ideas. So again, this is basically being able to step out of your comfort zone. And some people are becoming very stubborn, like, no, I know this, I want to only do that. Next one, self-obsessiveness. In the work environment, we almost inevitably think foremost of ourselves. In general, in our interaction with people, find a way to make the conversation revolve around them and their interests, all of which will go far to winning them to your side. You want to gain someone's trust? Get them to talk to you about them. My mentor is always telling me you have one mouth and two ears. Use them in that proportion. The thing that people like to talk the most about is themselves. Everyone. I'm always giving anecdotes about myself when I'm doing my streams. That's not because I'm pretentious or something like that. It's just because naturally we like to talk about ourselves. So if you want to gain someone's trust or affection, get them to talk to you about them. Simple as that. And once you have their trust, then you can extract a bit of their knowledge. It's not about stealing or manipulating people, by the way. It's just about making friends. The next deadly reality, I love this one, laziness. We all have the tendency to want to take the quickest, easiest path to our goals, but we generally manage to control our impatience. We understand the superior value of getting what we want through hard work. In general, be wary of people who want to collaborate. They are often trying to find someone who will do the heavier lifting for them. So just be careful about that. This is more business oriented. But we all had this example in high school, for example, about group presentation. Especially groups of 3. There are always one people doing the work, the second one just completing the work but just following, and the last one doing nothing. This is exactly the problem of collaboration. People who want to help you, however, it's different. Because they are willing to do the effort for you and you don't need that first. Next deadly reality, flightiness. We like to make a show of how much our decisions are based on rational considerations. But the truth is that we are largely governed by our emotions, which continually color our perceptions. So, this one is very important for social intelligence. And that's why looking in the eyes to spot the micro expressions, the emotions of people is so important. Because as I said for this example, a student might tell you, yeah, I've understood. But in their eyes, if you look carefully, you realize that they don't know shit. They haven't understood at all. They just tell you that to either look cool in front of everyone, this is conformity, or else because they are lazy, they don't want to do the work. So in that case, this is this kind of bored look. Oh my god, please leave me alone, buddy. I'm so tired. Or else, because I don't know, they are scared, they are angry and stuff like that, and they are not open to listen to you. That's why you need to be socially calibrated. And even more in the art industry, because everyone is a fucking emotional mess. With all the love that I have for the industry. The last reality is passive aggression. The root cause of all passive aggression is the human fear of direct confrontation. The emotion that a conflict can churn up and the loss of control that ensues. Again, you need to be able to spot passive aggression. This is often kind of easy. But envy, for example, is fine. Jealousy is a passive aggression. Let's say you are succeeding, you are making a bit of money. You're telling that to your friends, and they're like, oh, you might have made so much money, how cool for you. This is passive aggression. And someone is thinking, oh my god, you're so lucky. And someone is becoming satirical or punishing you for your virtues. Let's say you have a good news. Whatever. Hey, I found a bill of $50 in the street. Hey, I got hired in concept art class. Hey, I got my first job. And someone is getting pissed and trying to diminish your success in any reason. Maybe, oh, you just got lucky. Oh, you got pushed by someone already in the company. That's not fair. Oh, you will make so much money. How lucky you are.
And his name is John C.
You basically... No. These people want to stab you in the back. You need to be very careful about that. Danger. Let's talk about the strategies for acquiring social intelligence. The first one, this is something that you can see a lot within art, is to speak through your work. If you are experiencing the pressures of political maneuvering within the group, do not lose your head and become consumed with all of the pettiness. By remaining focused and speaking socially through your work, you will both continue to raise your skill level and stand out amongst the others who make a lot of noise but produce nothing. This is for corporate politics, for example. There are people doing the political game and people doing the work. You need to be in the second category, but know how political game work. Same in class, for example. You know there are some people, a bit less in the first year, but in the first year, the Prepa 1, there might have been a lot of people like that. People that are not the best at all. They even tend to be amongst the worst in the class. They are always the one bragging and giving advice to everyone. Artists pretending to give advice. This is just to compensate for the fact that they are fucking shit. Just do the work. It's as simple as that. That's what you can see also in Facebook and ArtStation and stuff like that. There are some people very, very good at social media. Good for them. There are some of them that they have like 50k followers on ArtStation. Their work is fucking shit. Because they just did the social media game perfectly. The problem is that they might have 50k followers, but amongst all those followers, no one is interested to give them work. There might be people with 500 followers because they are social monsters. They don't know shit about social media. They are just posting their work with no name, no description, nothing, just a picture. And amongst those 500 people, there are maybe 25 clients. What's the best? It's up to you. Next one, you need to craft the appropriate persona. You must see the creation of a persona as a key element in social intelligence, not something evil or demonic. We all wear masks in the social arena, playing different roles to suit the different environment we pass through. You are simply becoming more conscious of the process. Think of it as a theater. By creating a persona that is mysterious, intriguing, and masterful, you are playing to the public, giving them something compelling and pleasurable to witness. You are allowing them to project their fantasies into you, or directing their attention to other theatrical qualities. That's exactly what we discussed previously, about everyone wearing a mask and having some kind of appearance. We always have the same archetypes in class. We have the goth guy or goth girl. We have the metalhead. We have the hippie. We have the rasta. We have the punk. We have the nerd with glasses. We have the urban streetwear rap guy, like hip hop culture. We have the guy looking like a Viking. You have the you have the glam girl. You have stuff like that, and many more archetypes that I don't know how to name them today. And this is all of that is like a mask on the social theater, basically. And even me, when I'm entering the class, my first mask is the teacher, and that's something I talked a lot with the school teachers and director. Is basically because I'm way younger than most of the other teachers. I'm 27. So in terms of age, I'm still pretty close to the current students. So I can fit within like the big brother or older cousin archetype a bit easier. And this is not something conscious. But this is the kind of archetype that people are giving me thanks to my young age. So you need to fit into it and use the different qualities of that to basically make people trust you. And this is not manipulation. This is just, and this is not evil. This is just in order to make people trust me so I can teach them better. And every student is fitting within the student archetype too. So willing to learn, stuff like that. So everyone is kind of dropping their mask of who they are, the goth, the rasta, the punk, the glam, whatever. And using the student mask. That's basically a back and forth process. And in contrast to crafting the appropriate persona, you also need to see yourself as others see you. Almost all of us have social flaws of some sort, ranging from the relatively harmless to those that can get us in trouble. Perhaps it could be that we talk too much, that we are too honest in our criticism of people, or that we take offense too easily when others do not respond positively to our ideas. We need to be honest about ourselves, about what these flaws might be, looking back at conflict we've had and how our actions may have caused them. Again, this is just embracing adversity and challenge and hardship, figure out where we fucked up and how to fix that. We already talked about that in the Being the Perfect Apprentice. The last one is called Suffer Fools Gladly. In dealing with fools, you must adopt the following philosophy. They are simply a part of life, like rocks or furniture. All of us have foolish ideas, moments in which we lose our head and think more about our ego or some short-term goals. It is human nature. seeing this foolishness within us, we can then accept it in order. This will allow us to smile at their antics, to tolerate their presence as we would as a silly child, and to avoid the madness of trying to change them. The TLDR of this one is basically shit happens. There are stupid people everywhere. They are part of life. But the only thing in the entire world that we have control of, it's not society, it's not other people, it's not the world, it's just ourselves. So again, that's something that I said, that my mentor told me, that I'm repeating sometimes. It's decrease the judgment of others, increase the judgment of yourself. The second one, the kind of reciprocal theory about that is, don't wish the world is better, wish you were better. So basically, they are stupid people. They are stupid ideas. They are just rocks on your path. Nobody cares. Something that my mentor was telling me about feedbacks is basically, when you have a feedback and there is nothing constructive into it, just ignore it. If it's just, oh my god, this is so good, ignore it. If it's like, yeah, this shit, you're a fucking troll, like the troll from yesterday, ignore it. Shit happens, this is fine. And the good news is that all those fools, stupid people, lazy people, these people are your concurrents. So technically, it won't be hard to beat them. What time is it? Okay, so you have a bit of time. Any questions for now? Is that clear? This part about social intelligence is so important. I remember in one of the first streams I did, we talked about the introvert versus extrovert playbook. And how to deal with whatever you are, introvert or extrovert. Generally, when you are extroverted, the social part is very easy for you, but the focus in part for you is kind of hard. And when you are introverted, the social part is very hard, but you are very focused. And that's why you need to have social intelligence in both cases. If you are extroverted dealing with introverted people, you need to respect their needs to be focused and undisturbed. And if you are an introverted person dealing with extrovert people, you need to accept that they need human contact too. And this is social intelligence. Better at social intelligence? Oh my god. Whew. I will tell you to first, the first thing, go outside, go to as many social events as possible, even if you are introverted. Yeah, same. I'm a social monster. I can spend 6 months in my room without seeing anyone and not have a single problem about it. I am like the most introverted person ever. Even when I'm walking and my cat is yelling around me, it pisses me off. And I love my cat. Absolutely love him. But I don't want to be disturbed. I want to be in my bubble. Everything disturbing my friend or thought is a pain in the ass for me. My telephone ringing, the door, someone knocking at the door, even if it's an Amazon delivery. Social media is noise for me. All the news that I have to follow right now for the situation in France, it's noise for me. I hate that. It's disturbance. Even just talking to my client on Skype is horrible. I hate that. Because I just want to be in my Try it out. But the best advice I would give you is just go to as many social events as possible, because you won't learn social intelligence without seeing people. And if you still hate that, just see that as a game and try to analyze what people are thinking. Try to guess what they are thinking. See that as a game. The second advice I will say is that practice is always better than just theory, because there are people that are expert at that but never practicing that, like intellectual masturbators. But learning body language is so freaking important. I love that game too. Something you can do, that's something I do all the time when I'm at the bar, is looking at other people at different tables and trying to figure out what the interaction is. And it's very sadistical, but I love to do that at restaurants and bars when there are couples, like people dating each other, and I'm just looking at them for a few seconds, looking at the body language of the two person, and I'm like, is that going well or not? It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. It's pretty sadistical, but hey, that's a pretty nice game. Another thing that I like to do is when I am at the bar or something like that, just look at people in the street and try to figure out what they are doing. Like, oh, okay, this one is a business lady, probably working at sales. This guy seems to be a lazy bum doing a grocery store job and just going back home to drink a fucking beer. Stuff like that. It's very judgmental, I know. But at some point, you might get the shtick. Hello, Maz. How you doing, buddy? Give me a sec. So yeah, that's a good way. Learning body language in general is fine. There are channels on YouTube about that. One of them is called Believing Bruce. This one is highly immoral. It's called Believing Bruce. Very interesting. This guy has been, I don't want to get into the debate, I don't care. But this guy has been like analyzing the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial and seeing who is lying and who's saying what according to body language. This is very interesting. And he's doing a lot of videos about different people, famous people. Like, I don't know, Conor McGregor and his opponent when they're talking to each other with Thing Rue and stuff like that. This is very interesting. But yeah, just search information about body language. You will find a lot of stuff. I could give other book reference, but I don't want, because these are highly immoral and I would get into trouble if I was talking about them online. But do your own research and you will probably come to the same reading that I have been reading. Yeah, Believing Bruce is very cool. Very cool. I really like it. Really like it. Anyways, yeah, social intelligence has nothing to do with being social, by the way. I'm not social at all. I like good company, but if the conversation is not deep and exciting and complex, I hate that. It drains my energy. So I'm not social. I'm a very introverted person. But yeah, social intelligence is like that. Another thing you can learn for social intelligence is MBTI. I know it's a bit woo magic, but MBTI, if you know the different archetypes, it's kinda good. Yeah, same. If it's, to me, if a conversation is mundane, like talking about the latest Netflix series or shit like that, I hate that. To me, and I like watching movies and stuff like that, don't get me wrong, but when I'm hanging out with buddies in general, if I'm not talking about complex stuff, or having fun with someone that shares the same sense of humor as me, there is a nice alchemy. In that case, just humor and having fun can be enough. But if I'm not discussing about something complex that truly interests me, genuinely interests me, I hate that. It drains all my energy. Like people talking about like cracking jokes all the time just to have fun. It's like, I hate that. And to me, like a nice evening is like, I don't know, drinking a nice bottle with buddies, talking about how to make money, business, personal development, complex stuff, philosophy, psychology, complex stuff. I like when something is complex. If it's not complex, it drains my energy, basically. Yeah, social intelligence, so important. But yeah, MBTI, body language, social events, seeing that as a puzzle, as a game, basically. Very nice. And that's my 2 cents. I know that some people with some personality might be a bit better at social intelligence because for whatever reason in their life they had to develop that very fast. People who had to work on eggshells for years and years for whatever reason in their family or stuff like that. Sometimes because there is someone in their family that they are afraid of, something like that. They tend to become very, very sharp because it's a survival matter. That's how I learned that personally. Because of a stepdad. It was not the nicest person. So I had to be able to read his intent very fast. Yeah, complexity drains energy a bit too. That's why you need to have a balance. It's too complex for the sake of being complex. I hate that. That's why you need to have time to breathe and to crack jokes. Of course. You cannot remain complex for hours and hours, of course. It's a balance. It's like a spectrum. And some people prefer just mundanity. Like chit-chat and stuff like that. I compare that to fucking chicken. To me, when people are just chit-chatting for hours, to me it's like that. To me, it's exactly like that. But hey, yeah, social intelligence then. The next part. Do we still have time? That's way too long. I think we're gonna stop there for today. Tomorrow we're going to see the last 2 parts, which is awaken the dimension mind. This is basically the creative and active process. So this is basically about expanding your comfort zone. And the second one is fuse the intuitive with the rational. And this is something about social intelligence. At some point, it becomes, at least for me, it becomes instinctive. You don't have words to express how it works, but you have like a gut feeling, and you know this gut feeling is true. I don't know if that's your case too, but especially now with people, I tend to trust my gut feeling almost 99% of the time. I don't know if it's the same for you, but generally when I see people, it's not the first impression, but my overall gut feeling is almost always right. I'm kind of not able to explain that with words, to explain the emotion, but I'm able to sense the overall vibe of the situation. Like you're entering a place, you know if the atmosphere is cheerful, tense, if someone hates someone, something like that. It's like gut feeling. And if with time you realize that your gut feeling is always right, of course, don't consider it's always right, because you might become a bit arrogant. But you might start to think it's not something you should do, but you might. You might start to think like, can I say that? This gut feeling is true until proven otherwise. This is like my default operating mode about people in general. Like my gut feeling, I know it's generally 99% of the time right. Until proven otherwise. Example of what's wrong was with the class. I was like, what the fuck is that very cold class? How am I going to deal with that? And then it went nice. But I've been very rarely mistaking someone for something else. Generally, when I see someone, I know if I can trust this person or not. I know if this person is nice, genuinely a nice person, or kind of mean. I can see if that person is emotional or completely emotionally disconnected. This kind of empty stare. For girls, it might be like the Billie Eilish stare. I don't have any other examples. So I absolutely love what she's doing. But she has a very cold and extinct look. And for guys, it's more like the Pepe the Frog look. This feeling of tiredness. And you can sense that pretty easily. I don't want to shit on Billie Eilish, and don't get me wrong, it's just the style that is very, very emblematic. You can have the same with Nicki Minaj, for example. This very cold and a vague look. This absent look. For guys, it's more like the Pepe the Frog look, in my opinion. That's just my 2 cents. But that's just my mature reference for, at least for me. Social intelligence would be an entire subject of discussion. This is so vague. This has nothing to do with art, by the way. But this is very important in the workplace for artists because a big 95+% of people in art industry have zero social intelligence. I don't know how to speak. I don't know how to behave. That's something you see all the time in conventions. That's something I'm telling my students all the time when I'm mentoring them. It's like when you go to conventions, dress well, as if you were having a date with someone that truly matters to you, as if you were having a meeting with your banker or something like that. Because of course there will be artists with baggy clothes, crazy tattoos, nose ring and stuff like that. No problem. But even if you have tattoos, nose ring, colored nails, colored hair, whatever, this is fine. But just dress well. Go to get a nice haircut before. Wear a nice perfume, nice clothes, nice shoes. Please, the shoes. Shoes. And basically, show yourself as someone who takes care of him or herself. Because whether we want it or not, we are judged instantly on our appearance. And even though we are in the art world and it's very expressive and liberal, this is fine. In a convention, you are here to get a job. And what the person will think, the recruiter will think is, this person is taking care of him or herself, or they self, whatever the pronoun that you want. This person is able to take care of this person. So this person will be able to take care of the project. This is as simple as that. And just with that, you're putting odds in your favor to get people to trust you even more. Or just a bit more. But just a bit more. Maybe this extra 2% of trust might be enough to justify a difference between you getting hired over someone else. Just with the first impression. And this is an example of social intelligence, for example. So when you are in a convention, or at a meeting, or But an interview, even if it's an interview on Skype, dress well, as if you are going to a date. Have a nice perfume, even if you are doing an interview on Skype. This is for you. This is for your confidence. It's like, I took care of myself like a princess. I'm a nice person. I'm looking beautiful. I'm feeling well. This perfume is making me feel confident and attractive. And just by feeling that, it will go towards the screen. It will show that you are taking you are taking care of yourself, and it will spark confidence and trust in your recruiter or the person interviewing you. And this might be the edge that you have over anyone else. Because we all have prejudice and cliche. When I see someone with dreadlocks and Rasta clothes, I'm gonna think about the archetype that it means. When I see someone that is gothic, with chains, crazy tattoos, spiky hairs and stuff like that, I will have cliches about that. It might be true or not, but that's the first impression. And you don't want to short circuit the interview just because of cliches. That's something we have no control over. We cannot change people's perception of those cliches. What we can do is adapt ourselves. And this is social intelligence. And when you go at meetings and convention and you see super pros, they are not dressed in cocktail clothes either. Don't go too hard either. Don't put the sexy shiny red dress or the smoking and stuff like that, of course. Tuxedo and stuff like that. Don't try too hard. Just a nice gray or brown costume. Not with a tie, but just shirt, nice costume, nice belt. Smart casual, exactly. Smart casual. Nice clothes. Brand new haircut. Trimmed the beard. Trimmed eyebrows if that's your thing. Nice shoes. The nails. So fucking important, the nails. If you are biting your nails, just trim them. Get them clean. That's body language. And you technically a recruiter in the ideal world should be able to spot that. That's its job. And if a recruiter see that you are biting your nails to the blood, what you're expressing now is that you are a stressed person. And that you are stressed enough to bite your nails until you are bleeding. See my point? That's something that, of course, we have no time to talk about in school. That's fine. Social intelligence is part of the skill set that you need to have if you want to succeed. It has nothing to do with blue hairs, nose rings, tattoos on the face and stuff like that. No problem. If you are taking care of yourself, this is fine. But don't come with stained clothes, shitty clothes, a haircut that is discolored and stuff like that. Come fresh, clean, fit, brand new. This will spark so much confidence and you will basically have an edge over so many other people that don't think about that and just dress casual, not smart. This is all about stacking all the odds in your favor in order to get the job. Anyways. By the way, I'm in no way a fashion expert or whatever. But it's just as simple as that. Anyways, that's going to be it for the stream, I guess. I still have work to do. For those watching the replay on YouTube, as always, you know the jazz. Feel free to drop a like, drop a comment if you agree or disagree. Express your opinion. Yeah, there's a whole new world about that on YouTube. There are a ton of fashion website and stuff like that, body language stuff. For French people, I like the website called Belle Girl. Very, very, very cool. At least for men. But there are many, many different styles, and you need to have your style. You can be dressed super smart while being super urban and streetwear. No problem. There's no problem about that. You can dress super well while having the Rock and Tony Stark attitude. It's all about the archetype. I'm not here to talk about fashion, and I'm not an expert at that. So do your own research. But yeah, if you're on YouTube, do me the favor to drop a like, subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitch. Come to see us on Twitch and discuss with us. This is some kind of discussion that we have right now, and I really love that. Feel free to join the Discord down below. We are building a very nice community. I'm open for some consultation if needs be. There's a link somewhere in the comments for consultation. I can book 30 minutes or 1 hour. If you need more, just send me a DM on Discord. We're gonna talk about that. I'm gonna drop a subscriber list pretty soon. A mailing list for you to get some kind of newsletters. That's what you want. This way you will get informed about the streams and stuff like that. If you want to not miss anything, feel free to follow on Twitch. You can subscribe if you want to support my work. You can support my work financially. And if you want to support my work in other ways, feel free to recommend the stream to anyone you think might benefit from it. I guess that's it. Yeah. Feel free to follow me on social media too. I'm gonna start TikTok, Instagram, and all that jazz that I'm pretty cringe with pretty soon. So if you want to see a cringe fest in the meantime, and during all the time that I'm learning that, you're gonna have your daily dose of cringe, I guess. Anyways, thank you, folks. See you tomorrow for the last part of the of this presentation. Have a nice Friday tomorrow, guys.